big as a giant.
Or, like all the others, dead.
Hello, potential survivors. Ghostfake here, and I'm here to talk to you about a perfectly harmless, yet sometimes fatal affliction called subscriber's guilt. This unbelievably dangerous disease occurs when YouTube recommends a video that you may like, and based off the one video, you subscribe to that channel, only to find out that every other video on that channel is complete trash. Well, I'm here to tell you that at Survivor's Guilt, you don't have to worry about that, because every video is trash. Here at Survivor's Guilt, we determine your chances of surviving your favorite and not favorite horror movies, using our patented survival stat technology based loosely in science. We calculate your exact odds of surviving through these movies. Did I say exact? I meant exaggerated and biased. We do this by taking a look at our main characters and the death that surrounds them to determine your chances of suffering survivor's guilt. So don't afflict yourself with subscriber's guilt, try survivor's guilt, and prepare to be disappointed.
This one's gonna be a hard one. No pun intended.
Down the catwalk every day, and maybe someday we'll go all the way.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. A sequel was all but inevitable, really.
Hey everybody, it's CJ Graham, Jason Voorhees. That's right, Friday the 13th, part 6. And you're listening to the Snobs.com.
Welcome back, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Hi, everybody. Welcome to 2021.
It is here. It
Like
is
a breath of fresh air.
Feeling that what was going to happen, what could occur, finally came, and that is the Scene Snobs Podcast Live is back. We are here. We did not leave you for long. You only missed 1 week. It's okay. We all survived. Oop, I just got off my shift. Sorry about that.
I think that place is a front.
Listen, I don't want to talk about my boss like that, but it might be. I'm just saying, It feels so good to be back in 2021 with you.
Really does. This is nice. This is nice, people. This is refreshing. This is a good space.
I will say this. This is the Scene Snobs Podcast Live. I am your host, Mick Manhattan, the Scene Snob himself, and I'm joined, of course, as always, by my trusted... What do we call you? I don't want to call you a sidekick. I want to call you
Am I
a
a consigliere?
I'll call
An
you a
advisor?
partner.
Partner?
I mean, it's like a Butch and
Partner?
Sundance thing. We know. Yeah, of course. Mr. Casey Plot, the Madman himself.
A pleasure, pleasure. Please hold your paws.
I want to thank you all for watching. We have our good buddies, Jason, Mike, Chris, are all watching. They've all been quoting along. So,
Hi, Jason, Mike, and Chris.
And so many more. I mean, I'm hoping maybe Facebook user makes an appearance today.
Ooh,
See?
could be exciting. Way to start 2021 with Facebook user, man. Gotta have it.
You can't. I mean, it's just bad luck if he doesn't show up. Or she. Right. We don't know. We have no idea who
the Facebook ambiguous Facebook user.
Well, I want to say this. How was your New Year's, sir?
It was good. It was good. It was very nice, very refreshing. I worked. So, I rang in the new year the same way I think I did last year. So, solid.
Well, you, sir, are a lot better of a man than I, because I have finally reached that age that we all see in our parents and loved ones that are older, grown up. We kept the kids up till midnight.
Nice. Strong.
No, not strong. I was not strong anyway. I finally realized I wanted to go to bed. I didn't care about what was happening. I didn't care about the ball dropping. Nothing. They, of course, are excited and want to stay up. And we started something. It's over now. Oh, we're getting reverb. Hold on one sec. I'll lower it. All right. So we started something now. They're going to want to stay up every year now.
Oh, yeah. No, you've now lit the fuse, buddy. That's it. It's official.
So I'm screwed. I have to stay up now until they're old enough to just do it by themselves.
Midnight is such a big deal for kids. They love midnight. The prospect of hitting midnight is like, whoa, do you think we could do it? Like, it's huge. And then once they've done it, I mean, that's it. Floodgates open. You're screwed until like 28.
I can't. I don't want to anymore. I wanted to go to bed so bad.
Oh, same.
I was not excited for it at all. I was more excited to get back here.
Yeah, honestly, man, I missed this week. Not having a whole week, I was like, what do you mean I don't have to do a show? All I want to do is show. This is stupid.
I know. We were talking, and we're like, I'm just bored.
Yeah.
And then I'm glad we're back. We're doing this because I had my first show last night. It was season 2 premiere. Everybody go check it out. The showcase is back.
The showcase.
Matt Anderson. Yeah, so we're going to go for about 10 to 12 weeks. I have guests lined up. Then take another break, and then we'll come back to season 3 later in the year.
Nice.
I'm thinking we'll do that, but we are here at the Scene Snobs Podcast Live. This is the flagship show.
This is the tops, and everybody who's here is along for the ride. We love you all on this vessel of crazy.
We absolutely love you all, and we're going to get into it tonight. We're going to get into nostalgia. We're going to get into some heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Like police procedurals. We're going to touch down on some stuff like being dad.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a real heavy topic right now. A lot going on there.
It really is, and it's hard to avoid at this moment in time. First, I want to say right off the bat, rest in peace. Tanya Roberts died. It was official.
Yeah.
She passed on, and I'm very sad to hear that. And we are also getting a couple of other reports, and may God take care of them. Or whoever you believe in, pray to them. Dr. Dre was supposedly rushed to the hospital for a brain aneurysm. So let's hope, let's just say our prayers. I don't have that validated, but I did read it right before the show.
I mean, that's crazy. What?
Louis Gossett Jr. has the COVID.
Oh man.
So hopefully he
soar high, Iron Eagle.
Yeah, and then
damn.
Probably the most devastating news of all is former presidential candidate and former almost presidential first lady Kim Kardashian West and Kanye West are donezo.
What?
They're done. They're splitting.
Yeah, I mean, is someone selling an album? Do they need some kind of buff? Like is something going on? They need to increase their popularity. Is that what this is?
I think this is lawyer Kim Kardashian finally saying, I am tired of this dude.
I don't trust it. I just don't trust it. Dre is a big deal. Dre's crazy. What is that? Like what is breaking on the scene snobs right now?
I know. Yeah, it's Dr. Dre. That's going to be definitely a sad one. We got some comments here. Cloud Jester, I'm sorry to inform you on this stuff. I know it's pretty crazy, but yeah, I mean, Dr. Dre is probably the craziest right now because we never know. Yeah, Jason Taylor. I mean, that's sad, man. He's the man. Steve joins us. Dr. Dre, come on, man. Alexi from the Children of Bodom just died too. Did he?
Wow. Dang.
Oh man, there's so many. It's like so many people that can't even keep up with it.
2021 is just right out the freaking gate. All right, well, let's front load the end of it with crap and then have a good finish. I'm fine with that. Let's go that route.
Get all the crap out of the way.
Yeah, let's just.
Dr. Dre news is everywhere.
I
just read it about an hour ago.
We're already in this crappy mode where we're coming out of 2020, so let's just sweep all the rest of the shit out of here. Let's just get rid of this terrible news.
All right, well, if we're going to sweep out the crap, then let's talk about Wonder Woman. Ooh. I don't know.
Oh, gee, you mean another frickin' DC movie? Shocking. It wasn't good? Really? Really, Mike? Am I shocked?
I know you didn't see it yet, so I'm not going to ruin it for you.
You can't.
They'll do that for you.
You can't ruin it because it's going to suck, and I'm not going to, you know me, now I'm on like 8 months. Now I'll just take this giant hiatus where it's like, well, I mean, if you say it sucks, I'm definitely not going to watch it.
Well, that's the funny thing. I still have to do a review on it, and I'm doing it with a special guest, a friend of ours, Ann Highland, is joining me.
Oh, fantastic.
She's a curatorial assistant for the Smithsonian American Art Museum, and she's going to speak out on, the artistic value of the movie, just kind of like, because it does take place in a museum. And also like I want to talk to her about comic books and their artistic value, and also the female perspective of the movie.
So you're also saying that like one of the best parts of the whole movie is the background.
I'm not even saying that. I am going to say people.
You're bringing on someone whose specialty is going to be the background portion, of which she's brilliant at. So that's not a put down to Anne. That's a put down to Wonder Woman 84. That's clearly.
Well, I want to see what she has to say. I mean, she might change my mind, and that's what I'm doing with the Scene Snobs reviews now. I'm bringing on experts in fields that are close to what the movies are about to maybe change my perspective of going in. I mean, I can talk about the filmmaking aspect, but I want to hear about like what do people who actually have a connection to the story. What do they have to say? Maybe it'll change my perspective.
That sounds really smart. I mean, it sounds like a great idea. I'm going to sit here and judge it and hate it.
Well, we just did two. I did one with on Tenet with Gerard, our good buddy and co-host. He's a martial artist. He's an editor, so I wanted to get his perspective there.
Brilliant guy.
We did Soul. Derek Spears, musician and songwriter, came in and he talked about the just kind of like how jazz works and the whole background of it. And we also talked about black culture in the movie. So like, I mean, I learned a lot from it for both of those reviews. So I'm really excited to keep going.
Fantastic. I'm excited to watch them.
I think avid gamer Casey Plott is going to join me for the boss level review.
I am indeed.
So I'm very excited for that. But anyway, we can wax poetic about all the Scene Snobs all we want, but
that's what we do.
I really want to get down into is this Bean Dad scandal.
Oh, well, this is heavy duty stuff. All right. So I haven't seen an issue like this since, the Helsinki incident in '76. So this is a pretty big thing that it sounds like a bunch of people who don't have kids are weighing in on. And that's pretty much the way I read this as I read more into Bean Dad. So why don't you go ahead and explain what this crap is?
Yeah, I forget his name, Roderick. I'm going to half-ass this because it's so stupid to start 2021 off with everything we went through just last year. It's like, this is what we go to. This is the first official thing. I mean, we have massive protests going on, insane protests going on in the in DC and all over the country. We have
Almost 5 million people voting in a runoff and special election in Georgia, which is just bonkers right now.
I mean, we have so much going on that's actually important. We're upset at this kind of like this idiot dad who made his 9-year-old try and open a can of beans with the manual can opener for 6 hours and said, "You're not eating till you get it done." And listen, fine, I get it. I mean, so first of all, a lot of people were calling him abusive and things like that, and I don't think that's abuse. You're an ass. You're an ass. I mean, if you're going to make your kids sit there for 6 hours and not figure it out and not show them, you're an asshole.
If you don't teach them, you're just being a jerk at that point. So that part I totally understand. The only reason I see this having gained any traction at all is because of Ken Jennings taking over for Alex Trebek, and quite frankly, it should have been LeVar Burton. So anything to discredit Ken Jennings, I support. So I support the pure, adulterous hatred, just anger, vitriol towards this Bean Dad thing if it gets LeVar Burton on Jeopardy.
No, my only thing though is like, well, I'll get to that in a sec. I want to get to the Bean Dad stuff first because now you got me. I'm going to have another rant. Maybe Jonathan Frakes takes over Jeopardy. He's got the sexiness, the sex appeal.
Whoa. First of all, if you're saying in any way, if you're trying to insinuate that LeVar Burton is not sexy, we're going to have words.
Sexy-looking man, absolutely.
Right.
But he's like the guy you want to be best friends with.
Well, isn't that who you want on Jeopardy? I'm sorry. Did you think Alex Trebek was sexy?
Yeah, man. That guy was rocking the Rolex. You ever look back in the 80s when you had the double-breasted suit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hair. He was all good, man.
On what, Secret Password or whatever it was?
Oh,
man,
no.
He was crushing it.
Classic Concentration. And, oh, man, he had swagger, man. He had that Canadian swagger that comes down with, like, guys like Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
You know, come on. You got to tell me. All right, I'm losing my words here because I'm trying to like go between.
You're thinking about Ryan Reynolds. I get it.
Let's just put it this way. Let's get LeVar Burton. That's it. I'm not even going to add anybody else to it.
We don't need any more Bean Dad crap. Let's just put LeVar Burton in Jeopardy. Bean Dad over.
We're going to have one segment that's no longer potent potables. It's going to be called Jeffrey's Tubes, and it's going to be that's it. It's that's for all the Star Trek fans out there. So I'm saying this when it comes down to, I was a latchkey kid. I said this on Facebook earlier. Some people might have seen it, but basically, if you didn't figure it out, you didn't eat. Figure it out because they weren't there. Like nobody was there to show you.
Yeah, you had to learn how to hunt, make fire.
No.
You had to like stab hobos. I mean, you're in Jersey, bro. I don't know. You guys were nuts over there. You got steel yards. In my mind, growing up in Jersey was like Mad Max in the 80s. That's what I think
it was, but for very different reasons.
Just a wasteland of Jersey City that you had to battle through.
You shut your mouth, sir. For me, it wasn't like parents didn't teach you anything, stuff like that. It was just kind of like, actually, Chris says it perfectly right here, and it was the very same thing for me. My dad's favorite saying is, "I'll teach you how to do it, but I'm not doing it for you," and I thank him for that. And that's the way you do it.
Yep.
And you don't hand them a can of can opener and you say, figure it out, investigate it, look at it, and we're not eating until you figure it out. That's bullshit.
Well, I mean, you can do that for 15 minutes. You can do that for, hey, logically, take a look at it. Try to think about it. Try to figure it out. And if you can't, cool. I'm going to teach you anyway.
I'll give you 15 minutes. Yes, that's a good, because it is. Actually, I kind of like that, and I haven't done that with the kids with other things.
A little bit of problem solving, and then you don't have to get involved. And if they start to get frustrated, now it's also a lesson on frustration.
Exactly. You can sit down, you can talk to them, you can say, hey, listen, I understand why you're frustrated, but let's take a look at it from this perspective.
Yeah, I always have to say, look, just don't do what Daddy does when he's looking for his keys as we're trying to walk out the door.
100%. And if my keys are missing, I always go crazy.
Every time I go ballistic.
I have a spot. If they're not in there, I didn't move them.
I like to say that, but I definitely moved them.
It drives me crazy every time. I have my 4 things that I take out the door with me. Used to be cigarettes, now it's a mask. So now, take the hint, anti-maskers. But yeah, Anyway, hashtag Bean Dad has to go away. The guy's an asshole. We called him an asshole. He's not abusive. He's just a dick. And if you're 9, figure out how to use a manual can opener, because there's no way this 9-year-old with a father who has a podcast and is somewhat of a celebrity, she doesn't have access to look on YouTube to figure out how to use a manual.
Yeah, I was going to say that, or I mean, she's old enough. After 3 hours, don't you start stabbing? Isn't that a consideration? I don't know how 9-year-olds are nowadays.
No, here's how it worked. When I was younger than 9, we would be like, okay, I don't know how to open this can. It doesn't have a pull top. I have to use a can opener. I don't know how to use a can opener. So I put it back, and I'd go find something I can eat that isn't in a can. That's how you survive. And I've had this talk with my wife before, because I remember one time we were driving, and we were in like a lower income area. And listen, do not take this as me being pretentious, any of you. I'm not going to take it, because I grew up dirt poor in the lowest income area. And I have taken people back to where I'm from.
He climbed out of the scrap heap. He's gotten better, folks.
Everyone
He's pulled
who's seen
himself
where I'm
up.
from, Casey can attest. He's been there. Anyone who's seen where I'm from knows, like, oh man, this guy was poor.
What, you talking because of all the factories with broken windows and no cars in them?
That's not even, no, that's not bad. That's
What, not bad. There's like 20 of them. One road, the whole road.
All right, that's fair, but it's one road. I'm not even arguing.
A long road.
One warehouse. It was one road of warehouses. Is my argument.
So you should go to 2 towns over where they got 5 roads like that.
I truly believe that people who grow up and I'm not saying that people who don't have a similar instinct. I'm just saying that people who grow up in a lower income area have a survival instinct, because there's a certain amount, like, you just kind of intuitive, like, you know, we saw a family and it was like a mother and like 6 kids. And I was in that same position with my mother growing up in the middle of an urban area. You're on a very busy street and the kids are all on the sidewalk. My wife's just like, man, if she's not paying attention, those kids can run out in the street. I was like, none of those kids are running out in the street. I was like, they all have the instinct to stay on the sidewalk because they see this every day. They know what their area is like. And that's like part of your survival instinct growing up. You're aware of your surroundings. You figure it out. You know where to go, where not to go. So, and once you have that, you grow. It's street smarts. It really is. It's growing up with street smarts.
I really love this is like Bear Grylls advice from Jersey.
Yeah, it's like city advice. Like,
yeah.
I mean, listen,
that's the next big show. Surviving the city, bro. You're the guy.
Surviving the city. I'm gonna take a bunch of rich kids out to the city. Should be like, good luck.
Enjoy.
See me after.
You have 36 days. Who will be the next survivor?
Steve says, I'm 48 and I still haven't, you don't look 48 at all, Steve. I still haven't learned how to open a can of whoop ass, but I am able to open enough cans of beer in 6 hours to forget how to open a can of beans.
Strong.
That's legit. That is solid statement right there. I'm just saying, like, if you're that hungry kid, that's when you put it down in front of your dad. Ass whooping or not, I don't know what kind of dad this guy is. He might be abusive. And you're just like, I'm going to find like cheese or something, and I'll just grab some cheese and I'll eat that. Or go in your fridge. There's no cans in your fridge.
I don't understand the can of beans thing. It's saying open a can of beans and put it on the stove. If she can't open said can of beans, how could she work a stove?
Yeah, I mean, again, at 9, my life was very different. So, yeah, I knew how to work a stove. I knew how to work a.
Well, you had to actually make the fire, and then you had to collect all the firewood and kill anyone who was on the way trying to steal your food along the way. I get it, man.
Jersey a day over 38, sir. A day over 38. I will say this: anybody you know now who has like perfect example. I have an automatic can opener. I put it right on top of the thing. I hit the button and it like tornadoes all the way around and opens the can. Why? Because I know how to open with a can opener and I don't want to anymore.
Yeah, see, I know. I've had a very different experience because the first time I got this recent can opener, it took me like like 30 minutes to get the can open. I'm not
Yeah,
proud.
it's not always that easy. I'm not saying like that's why I'm not blaming the kid. But learn and look online. Like that's what kids need to do. You have a vast amount of knowledge on the internet. Why are you not looking online?
Because it's too hard. There's cooler stuff. It's not on TikTok. They didn't tell me in 25 seconds, Mike. I
Casey,
don't know how to do it.
what was our Wikipedia or Google back in the day?
Encyclopedia Brown or
No,
Botanical?
that was a great show. Britannica.
Britannica.
Or the library.
Well, with the library. You know where the library is, Mike. Take me to the library.
Did you just say library? Wow, let's go eat some strawberries. Strawberries. I would make gourmet peanut butter and jelly. That's where you mix it in a bowl before you put it on.
It's a strong move.
Never
Strong
tried
move.
that before.
I was a peanut butter and honey kid. Big fan.
Peanut butter and honey is great.
Oh, yeah.
That is, even if you add a little cinnamon sugar to it, dude, I'm telling you, not a lot, just a little bit. It just adds a nice taste to it. All right, here's what you do. You get 3 pieces of bread. Toast them.
All right.
Get them out nice and hot. You layer that peanut butter on one side. Layer the peanut butter on the other side. You get jelly for the middle part.
Mm-hmm.
Honey on the other side.
Yeah.
Lay it down. You got a 3-tier sandwich, peanut butter.
Lay it right down with all 3. Mm-hmm.
Trust me, I'm a fat guy.
Take his advice. Oh, that one.
But you were looking online for how to open beans, get some damn DoorDash. Yeah, take that credit card and just do it.
I bet that 9-year-old totally has more access to that and could have just done it. That would have negated all the issue.
Yeah, just call your dad an asshole and look in the fridge. That's
and
the way.
Carry on.
Speaking of assholes, we are definitely moving on to police procedurals.
Mm.
And I'm not. Oh man, that was a bad.
Easy. That went
a wrong way. I was
so
actually gonna
normally
go
when you
Nathan
segue,
Fillion.
it's just a bad segue. Like you don't transition properly. In this scenario, you transitioned in a highly negative manner with a perfect segue, though. So good segue, Mike.
All right, I went the wrong way with it. I realized what I've said. What I meant to do was call Nathan Fillion an asshole to piss you off. No, I was watching The Rookie the other night, and man, listen, I told you a while back. When it comes to The Rookie, I'm a mark. I'll watch that show.
They got you. Well, they had me with Castle, so I understand.
It's the most police procedural show ever. Police procedural.
Be careful because there's a lot of CBS shows still out there, like all the NCISs and the CSIs and whatever other initials they have. There's a lot of initial shows.
All carbon copies. I know. You're right. And they have their formula, and that's the way it is. And it's all matches the Chicago police or
Dragnet, 911, Chicago PD, all the Chicagos and all that stuff. Yeah.
But I have to say,
go ahead with The Rookie.
Yes. Well, in the wake, and I want to talk to you, kind of get into the conversation about it. What are you drinking, by the way?
Having a little seltzer water. Enjoying out of this this nice glass here. Yeah. It's fancy.
Nice. I like it. So with The Rookie, they're kind of the first one back after all of the backlash from the George Floyd murder, the Black Lives Matter movement and such. So they were the ones, I guess, were going to kind of set the tone. I think the Chicago ones came back, but they, for lack of a better term, copped out and kind of focused on like one big event sort of situation.
Right. I'm sure they already had something lined up.
Yeah. Like, I mean, a lot in the off season, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and things like that, they've said like, all right, we got to throw out the manual and we got to start over and try and address this and change in a way that works. So we knew there was going to be changes to some. This was a situation where it's whereas all those other shows are more detective shows, this is very much a in the uniform, out on the street, beat cop show. So
like part of Blue Bloods.
Yeah. Well, Blue Blood's telling all the generations, so you have all different levels. There really isn't. This is like trainees and rookies.
Right.
So they are beat cops.
Hence the title, right?
Well, last season, Mr. Fillion, his character, found out that one of his detective buddies was an informant for, I guess, a Russian mob. I don't even 100% know. I watched the show and I don't even 100% know.
Fair enough.
And like,
I'm listening. Go on.
And like 2 other cops were, and this cop killed those 2 other cops, and like it was this whole thing. So he was like doing an investigation with his partner of the guy that was like under the level. And by the time they got to it, like things got heated. They got into a firefight. He wound up shooting the guy, and then the guy was like, "I've already framed you. I've already left all of the evidence in your home." So it ended with him at his home tearing up his walls trying to find the evidence, and he did. And the police show up. So this season, big cliffhanger.
Yeah.
So this season was like, all right, he come in, like now he's got to try and figure his way out. He hires his buddy as a lawyer. Goes through the whole motion. But they made a lot of statements, like the internal affairs. They made these statements that were like, all you do is treat us like we're rats. You wind up sabotaging us every time you try to bend a rule and blah, blah, blah. They were citing like real things like this isn't how police act, because if you're doing this here, what's to stop you from being one of those cops that pulls over a black man and he ends up dead? So they were calling it out. Like they were actually saying things.
Approaching it, yeah.
Yeah. Well, my thing on this was that was always been a thing for police procedurals. They're always kind of breaking the laws. If a pedophile, raped somebody on SVU, raped a child on SUV or whatever it was called, SVU, I think it was.
There it is.
Yeah, takes a while. Stabler's going to beat him up, and you feel justice because, like, this guy's a piece of shit.
Sometimes, or Ice-T. One of them is going to get a good crack at the guy.
And there's always like that always sort of that moment where they go above the law, but it's okay because they're really bad. For me, I'm like, that was entertaining enough, but at the same time, I don't really watch police procedurals anyway, except The Rookie. I don't know why. I think it's Nathan Fillion.
Of course it is.
Of course, yeah,
100%.
Naturally. It's so outlandish. It just really is. Everything they do in it was brilliant. I love it. But I widely, like, I stay away from all those other shows. So for me, what do you think that police procedurals have to do to change in order to, I don't know, mirror what society is calling for and change?
Or more importantly, are they going to be able to? I think we're looking at such a division right now in the ideals and where the soul is of America, that we're in a place where we have such 2 different school of thoughts that it's not going to affect as many as we think. That we're still going to have the same thing because a lot of people still want the same thing. They still want this. They accept this. This is what they've had. They want their NCIS, their CSI, yada, blah, blah, whatever. It hasn't really changed it for me, honestly. I mean, I just got bored with it because there were too darn many of them, and they're all just doing the same thing. So it left a bad taste in my mouth. I can do Law and Order on occasion, but that's really it. And it's really only because someone else finds joy in it, Like, it's great if you're watching something with someone else and they get a kick out of it, but I don't watch it. I've got no use for it. I've got no time for it. I think police procedurals are played out anyway, but Dragnet started, and it hasn't stopped since. Since we ever got, what was it, Car 54, Where Are You, and Dragnet, and One Adam 12. I mean, those were the originals that ushered in this era that just hasn't stopped. It's then we got Homicide, Life on the Street, and gosh, what was the other one with Corbin Burnson?
Well, yeah, Blues. I mean, you had
Hill Street Blues. I mean, yeah, all of them. Emergency always was a big one back in the day, So you have all these. It's not going to change the tone. I think the intelligent ones that understand their audience and want to keep a lot of people watching them have to lean into this. They have to find a way to approach this subject, deal with the subject, and intelligently respect the subject. And I think that's one of the toughest things for television to do. And I think we constantly see a struggle with it. But at the same token, that's why we watch television, because it's able to entertain, get us out of the way, and forget about the realities. So why do you want to think about the realities when it's all over your news and everywhere else? The truth is, people are just going to want to see Stabler beat the shit out of the bad guy.
Yeah, I think you always want that hero justice, but we get it from superheroes.
Do we, though? I mean, from who? Like Marvel, kind of. But they're usually fighting such big bads that it's not a viable thing anymore. You know, we're no longer street level. We're way past that. Even our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is now intergalactic. So, yeah.
Fair. Well, let me ask you this then. Okay, so do you think that right now with everything, that police shows need to be more apologetic as they come back?
Not at all. I think they need to be whatever they're going to be, because it's always been a matter of the crowd will speak, the people will listen to the mob, and the masses will let you know what they want. It's that simple.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, I'm not calling for any apologies for anything because, like you said, they're a TV show. It's an acting. Like, I mean, I don't know that it should be called for. Like, they should be canceled. I mean, these are jobs for people.
Correct.
But I do think that tones need to change, or at least reflect what's happening in the world.
I think it would be great if we actually saw something come out and it almost became fighting against the bad. That's just bad that exists, the corrupt. You know, those things, the ideas that we're against, and yet, but what are we going to do? Have an IA show where they're going to, you know, everybody's going to be like, yeah, let's find out from internal affairs. Let's follow theirs. Nobody's watching that. You know, you want to see good guy versus bad guy, cowboy, Indian. We were raised with it. Empire rebels. It's what we want. We want that pure beacon of shining hope, which is what we consider a badge. And we want to be able to cheer it on.
But I think at the same time, like you had said, cowboy and Indian, that has changed so much. I mean, we don't even use that term anymore. So for us, it's, you know, and for anybody listening, we're using that as that was the
it's a reference to what it was. Yeah,
using that word, but we are calling the genre what it was called back in the day. Even then, like you get shows like Yellowstone that are more complex now and more up to date. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there is a problem between Native Americans. There is a problem between the white man and people like land grabbing and such. But it's not a clear, concise like line. Like this is the bad guy. This is the bad guy. Like there are some who act crazy in this or that, and I don't mind that drama. Now, when it comes to police shows, though, I think maybe following internal affairs around isn't a good idea, but for a show, but maybe adding internal affairs in there and not making them the bad guy. Every show or movie makes them the bad guy.
Every time they're the turncoat. They're the ones who are watching you. They're the ones who will make you turn on your partner. It's none of that crap, you know, but that's not gonna, I don't know how they would do it. Well, I mean, because it depends on how deep you're trying to get. I feel like they tried to do that on whatever that Lethal Weapon thing on Fox was, which was just a nightmare.
Yeah, that was a problem. Well, but I mean, like, I feel like there should at least be somebody trying, and what I mean by that is like, let's do a show where there isn't a guy who's going to white knight and beat up the pedophile or beat up the rapist.
You mean like The Wire?
Book. You can have who?
The Wire. You mean something like that?
So good, man. The Wire is so good.
Where you actually see the grittiness, a little more honesty, the absurdity. The people who try to do right usually get crapped on by everyone else. So really, at the end of the day, the bad guys win, and that's the reality. Nobody wants the reality of a show. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants that. You know, no one wants to actually eat that in and believe that right now, man. We're in a world where people need puppy dogs and unicorns. So when it comes to police procedurals, I just don't see them gaining enough traction in any other new markets, and I don't see them losing any traction because people who are there are already entrenched.
Well, do you think they need to go away for a while? Do you think or at least dwindle down a bit? Like, because there's so many.
I mean, I've felt that way for a while, but at the same token, if we have so many options at this point, does it really matter? We can choose what we want to watch. We get to dictate our own choices so much over the course of 9 streaming services and 400 channels on TV. I mean, everything's still going to be there. We're still going to get the broad church. We're still going to get something that when it does hit, everyone goes, my goodness, look at how wonderful this is. So police procedural or not, people will watch whatever is well put together.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, honestly. So, all right. So really right now, nothing in your opinion is going to change.
Needs to change is a very different concern, but that depends on the voices that are coming out and what they're saying, if the message is getting through. And I think that's one of the things that doesn't happen frequently because people boil everything down to these baser points of good, bad. You know, that's all they want to see.
Yeah. All right. That's a good point, man. I like that. But sticking with the theme of TV, I kind of want to get into our main topic tonight. And it kind of comes from both of us, really, because I finished Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Season 3. So I'm all caught up there, and I'm chomping at the bit for season 4 because things are going to – and I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. I'm not going to spoil it for you because I know you haven't seen it yet, buddy.
I'm struggling. I'm powering through season 2, man, but it's just so much. It's so much to take in. I'm just eating these morsels like I can't go faster. How can I go faster?
Dude, I think the thing is that you're so lucky that you're going to get to the end of season 2, the last episode, and you're going to see it, and then you're like, okay, but I can go right to the first episode.
Well, that's the thing is I can go right into season 3, and then because everyone else is like season 4, I'm like, well, now I'm gonna have to wait, and it's going to be 1 episode a month. I'm just going to have to morsel it out.
You're not going to be able to. In season 3, you will not be able to. You're going to get there, and you're going to be like, oh, no, there's no way I can't watch the next episode. There's no way you can wait that long. Trust me.
Well, hearing that there's a big chunk of Kreese's story and learning his back, I'm stoked for that. I am super excited for that.
Everything, and it all turns out not the way you think it will.
Danny's fault.
Not normal. So it's going to be interesting. I will say this: it got me thinking. And you had talked about Hulk Hogan last night. Hulk Hogan showed up on Raw.
Yep. So I was watching Raw. Hulk Hogan pops on screen, and he and Drew McIntyre, one of the other current wrestlers, are doing their back and forth thing. And he's going, "Brother, you look like you ate your vitamins and you drank your milk and you're listening to your teachers," or whatever it was. And then they start doing the hulking up and they do the flexing. And there, I was just out of nowhere, just because of the way those words and the cadence of the words, they finished that. And I was like, yeah. Like it was terrible. It was so weird having that pulled out of me involuntarily to just start doing that. Like, little, 7-year-old me was up in that, man. The cape on and everything, ready to just elbow drop or do the guillotine leg drop.
Straight up Hulkamaniacs, man. Straight up Hulkamaniacs. Of course. I'll say this, like even when you said it, I realized that I call a lot of people, it's my closest friends, and people I really like. If I think you're a good person with integrity, I call you brother. And what people don't understand is, because it's normally written out, is it's in my head as brother. Like it is. It's just ingrained in there. I may not even say it that way, but in my head, that's the way it is every time. And it got me to a nostalgic point of, like thinking about TV and, everything we were kind of like touching down on. Cobra Kai works. Cobra Kai took, it's so weird and so funny. Cobra Kai took this movie, and I'm only talking about the first one right now. It took this movie that was just literally about a guy getting bullied, learns karate, beat the guys who were bullying him.
Yep.
That is it. It is not all the other martial arts movies and let's just stick to the decade of the 80s, all the other martial arts movies, Miami Connection, things like that were coming out were all over the place. Like this, we got to fight the oil baron or the
American Ninja. You had Billy Jack. And
no retreat, no surrender. Like all of them had this thing where it's like, we have to beat the Russians, or we have to beat this, or we have to beat that. And it was using the karate to get to a point where it was like this epic battle against good and evil, not the Karate Kid. Because even if you hated Johnny in the Karate Kid growing up, and I'm not saying that was everybody, but even if you did, you still were like, but this is still a high school kid. Yeah, he's being a dick, but he's still a high school kid.
You didn't look at him and go, well, fuck this guy. You went, oh, well, I get it. I mean, there were moments where I did that. I think everybody was able to see that. And when you're young, like when I saw it and when you saw it, we were kids. So we took it and went, oh, we can beat up the bullies.
Yeah,
we can do it.
And then, like, until I grew and never could.
But
I always took a licking, and I never fell down. I never got knocked out. But until I actually grew, I was like, I got nothing.
Not me. I was Captain Scuff Knees, man, just getting shoved everywhere.
Oh, I wish I went to high school with you.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I would have protected you, sir. But when it got me thinking about all of this, and like, so this movie that was not about karate in an epic way. It was just like, okay, I'm going to teach you karate. You're going to beat these guys up, redeem yourself. Even like Johnny at the end of it redeemed himself. It was like, you're all right by me, LaRusso. in that 80-yard line, which turned out not to be true 30 years later. It comes back, and now the show is everything it wasn't. It still takes the heart of misunderstood kids who are bullied. Some are being bullied, some aren't. And some are nerds or whatever. And I love the way they do it. I love the way they're handling the show. But I'm like, I was like, this isn't what it was. This isn't what it was birthed on. And now the second one definitely turns it into that, because this is not a tournament. This is real life. And then the third one with like Cobra Kai has to come back and get the bad boy of karate, Mike Barnes.
Which is amazing. And then how about the fourth one?
Oh my God! Don't even get into the fourth.
What are you talking about? Hillary Swank with a Falcon, bro. It was amazing.
I forgot about the Falcon, man.
How could you forget about the Falcon? It was the best part. It was on the freaking cover.
It was even like Mr. Miyagi fighting like an elite combat crew from a school, a junior ROTC special forces.
Right. Think that was, I don't remember that. I just remember Hillary Swank and the Eagle. That's really it.
It was so bad. But Cobra Kai came back and redeemed itself. So it got me thinking about shows that have come back from the past because they've been ushering in. And I kind of wanted to touch down on it a little bit. So like Roseanne came back. And I've talked about this. Like if you check out the Pulling Focus podcast from this week, we've touched down on this too. But I want to get a little more in depth. I want to see what things from the past you think could come back and work.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's very interesting because right now what we're living in this is this fun area where I think nostalgia is able to really hit hard, and it's able to affect you, and it's able to tug on those heartstrings, and even harder now since through 2020. I feel like a lot of things happened to us as a people, and we moved and wanted to remember a better time, like Stranger Things, being able to get outside, like having those adventures, and that's huge. Anything adventure right now, it inspires that child within us, and being locked down definitely makes you want to go, well, I need to get out and ride my bike for 13 miles and just hang out with my friends and go fishing randomly for no reason because just
open up a can of baked beans with a manual can opener.
Yeah, man, maybe just figure out how to use a screwdriver and a rock. I don't know. It's not my world. But
good night, everybody.
And that's it. Hey. No, I thought about this because we've seen movies come back and really fail. Unfortunately, I thought RoboCop was great, but because people wanted an updated, you don't want the updated thing because you love the original thing so much and you've built it up in your mind that by the time you get to this remake, you're like, yeah, but you know what they didn't do was make the cars hover. Like people get upset about it, and there's this unfortunate culture that wants to tear things down. So it's difficult to really reboot stuff. But if you can capture the essence, that feeling, Vampire and Bronx did it, or Vampires versus the Bronx. Mm-hmm. They really did that with that Lost Boys feel, with the way they were shooting it. There was a lot of good dialogue. Like I don't think there's a show or a way to bring back and continue to regurgitate these shows that would come out as well. I don't see anything coming out as good as the original because we've reached a point in our lives, you and I especially, where although we can respect it and may say we like it, we'll never actually return to it as much as we may return to the original. There's not a single thing I could go through and went, you know what? I'd love to see this happen. And if they were able to expand on this point, but it still wouldn't be the thing I saw at that time that meant that to me.
Yeah, I mean, look at a lot of them that from our childhood that did come back around, like the Boy Meets World remake with the daughter, and it got everybody back for it.
Which did well. I mean, I liked it. I liked Girl Meets World until you watch it and realize I'm not 10 anymore. I'm not when these stories meant more to me. I try to rewatch Boy Meets World, and I'm like, no, I can't do that. Topanga's 13. Or whatever. It's uncomfortable.
It is so weird that like the girls you had a crush on when you were 12 or 13, you go back and rewatch and you're like, I can't watch this. I had a crush on this person. And then you remind yourself like, well, this person's 40 now.
Well, yeah, of course.
It doesn't matter because it's like, but I had a crush when I was a kid. That's what I
have Instagram, and I will go back to Tiffany Amber Thiessen as many times as humanly possible. And I will constantly be like, yeah, what's up? But the moment she's on the screen is Kelly Kapowski, it's uncomfortable now. Because I'm not that friggin' 12-year-old boy going, oh my gosh, she's got a job at the mall and she broke up with Zach. It means I have a chance.
That doesn't bother me as much because on that show they were clearly like 30. So, so I knew that going in. I had.
Well, no, California Dreamin' was the one where they were like 40, like that one guy Sly who always had his friggin' cowboy vest on and all that jazz.
Oh my god! But well, Saved by the Bell they were in their 20s. I know that. They were, like Zach was like 27. I think the youngest was Screech, and I think he was like 18 at the time.
Oh wow!
So like even when they were kids, like started out with Miss Bliss and such, they were still like older kids. So by the time Kelly came in, they were in their 20s.
Okay. Because okay. Well, anywho, going back and watching those,
yeah, we went to a totally different place.
We really went far. I can't. It doesn't have the same effect, and it's not going to. I can go back and watch the Goonies. I can go and share those things with my kid. And I think we have a comment from a Miss Nicole Francisco there.
Oh, yep. Here we go. So,
Yep.
Not sure I'd want a direct remake, but maybe reboot a never-ending story could introduce the younger generation to get them to watch the originals. Don't kill me. I hate those movies. So, and I know I'm in the
extreme minority.
Yeah, I'm in a very extreme minority. I will say this: I don't want to see a remake, and my wife will probably show those movies to my kids because she loves them. But nah, I don't care.
Yeah, see, I'm on the other side of that boat. I would totally, absolutely watch those 100 times with River. And there are going to be a lot of those movies. Now, now I've realized that, that scene with Artex messed me up. And I will not let her see that until she's emotionally ready.
They don't get emotionally ready until you show them.
No, it doesn't work that way, man. Still
it's
here.
I wouldn't be there because I would just be like, buy horse. Yeah,
no, the thing is, I tell you that this is the time I'm watching it, and you'd be like, all right, and just wait by the door.
I have something for the end I want to talk about. This reminds me of that. And I'll bring it up at the end, but I'll go through the comments now. And Chris says, I really thought Knight Rider would be a cool to bring back until they did.
Exactly.
Yeah, it did not work. And Jason says, and corrected, Screech was under 18. He was like 15. The rest were older. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that makes sense though. But I knew Kelly was older, and that was so for me. The suspension of disbelief was they're in high school. I'll buy that. Mm-hmm. But being attracted to any one of those women, I'm like, these are older women. I was like, so I knew what I was getting into. No, let them die inside.
Never. Never. That Artex scene is going to be, I'm telling you, like maybe Artex. 17. I might legit wait. Like we'll just cover the Princess Bride a lot more. And
I just think that making a diorama of the horse sinking in the mud and then showing her and being like, this is what we can expect. And then just saying, hey, but Mike cheers it on every time it happens.
Oh man, boys and girls are so different.
I could never get into those movies, man. I just never.
I totally understand. I was in love with the rock troll. I wanted to be a rock troll. It's like I just want a huge wheel I can ride on it. They look like strong hands. Like yeah, that was awesome.
And it wasn't even fantasy because I liked Willow. I liked Princess Bride.
Willow's amazing. Gosh, yeah. I think I saw those movies at the same time, and Willow affected me way more. But I realized, like watching it later in life, I went, "That's a much older movie."
Well,
why was I allowed to watch that?
What do you think about that? Bringing that back for a TV show?
Willow?
Yeah.
Once again, as long as they're not remaking, like if you're following in a story, if you're living in that world, I'm fine with that. Now, look, once again, didn't really work with Dark Crystal. Didn't really pay off. We went back and watched it and went, oh, yeah, Henson puppets are creepy, man. This is not okay.
Yeah. Well, for me, with Willow, if you don't have Mad Mardigan, you don't have it. Like, I'm sorry, I don't care. You got to have Mad Mardigan. He doesn't have to be a star.
You really are the greatest swordsman in the world. Yeah, I mean, I understand that. It's Mad Mardigan. But at the same token, we can have something happening on another continent where Willow and Mad Mardigan are known, and maybe we have a Val Kilmer, I don't know, cardboard cutout somewhere with a scarf around his neck. But I'm not worried about that as much as capture the essence of something great. And I really think that's why, talking about beating dead horses here. I think something like Fat Man, taking a known commodity like Santa and turning it on its head, but still giving you this feeling of nostalgia and that warmth of the holiday season. Doing it in such an odd way. So I think the more inventive, the more creative, that could be a lot better rather than going, hey, you know what? Let's take something from your past and slowly tear it in front of you. Real slow. Real slow. So you feel every bit. Yeah, I'm good.
You know, I like that. And Gerard saying no more remakes, expand the story, I'm okay with. I'm fine with. I like this. Like, again, with the Cobra Kai, I think that works. It expands the story. We get to see where they went. We get new characters. It works. Willow, again, I need Man Mardigan. That's what made the movie for me. That's what's going to make.
No, Sorceress totally made that movie for me. She was awesome.
Yeah, it's true. But
she was just brutal, man.
At first, and then she was just so lovely. Oh, no, I'm thinking of, what's her name? I'm sorry. I threw off.
Whoa. Wait, are you talking about the chick from the tavern?
No.
Okay.
What's her name? I can't think of her name now.
Are you mixing up with Conan the Barbarian, that cave-dwelling witch?
Oh, my God. Let me tell you something about that witch. Gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the funniest scenes in the movie.
Yes, it is.
Eyes pop open and he's just like, woof. Took care of that problem. That's over.
Her in the fire. And it's like, wait, it's over?
That was it. I was like, this is a witch that he just like straight up just threw in the fire. He did not hesitate. Nope. It's still one of the funniest. I love it. I will say, I would really like to see horror movies come more with expansions. Like, I want to see franchises pick back up, like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, I understand that there were some bad movies in there.
Oh, we had a lot of failures. And here's the other thing, man, is all the things that tried to reboot, of which one of them really did it justice?
I really like the Halloween remake. Not remake, but
the first one? Movie. Oh, the new one. Yeah. Well, oh, gosh. Halloween 18.
It's Halloween.
2018. Yeah. It was amazing. And this one, Halloween Kills. Oh, so excited.
Yeah, and I mean, it expands. It gives you a whole new timeline, gives you something different, still incorporates the first movie. But I think you can do that with like Nightmare on Elm Street.
I agree. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I gotta go with my Courtney first. He says, I'm with Gerard. No more remakes between movies and shows and video games. Where are the new IPs?
Thank you. Love you, Mike. Right. Why can't we take some of the, hey, we've got so many great movies and shows. You want to do something new with it? Make it a video game. Give me a 14-hour story to a 40-hour story that I can play. I'm in. You've got me. That's the world. You can use any characters and everybody's voice acting, so you can have everybody back.
But I think the most right comment out of all of these comes from our beloved Facebook user. Jack, we love you. What's up, Snobs? I love it. I love when Facebook user shows up. We just love you. We just love you all the time. It's truly amazing.
I'm gonna have some champagne for you later, Facebook user.
Don't be later. Stay with us. We want to hear more from you. So I don't know. There are some things I think you could pull off today as remakes. I think there are some failed TV shows. I think there are some hits. I would take an 18 remake, and I know that says something. Because the movie failed, and I love the movie. I think people should have went to see it. I thought it was really good. I would take another TV show of the A-Team. Okay. I think those are the heroes you need.
I liked the movie. The movie was fine.
But you can do the A-Team like we were talking about police procedurals. You need that street level. Mm-hmm. That's what the A-Team would be. On the street, doing the things, getting the bad guys that we maybe like got through the law and such. Okay,
I see it.
Airwolf.
Nope. I love Airwolf. But if it's not going to have Ernest Borgnine, I don't fucking want it. The fact that you have to find a crotchety old man to play that role. And I'm sure they try. I swear Airwolf had to have been remade. Someone had to have tried. No, this had to have happened. There's no way it didn't. I mean, we're talking Jan Michael Vincent at his strongest. There's absolutely no way that Airwolf was not remade. I'm going to find out. Oh, no, I promise you it was.
It might have been at least a plan. Oh,
2019. 2019.
Oh God, really?
Well, at least that's what it says. I don't know. It could be very wrong. But
Chris said,
no,
to play Dead by Daylight, I'm addicted to it. Myers, Freddy, Leatherface, Ghostface, Pyramid Head, and more. Yeah, I mean it's pretty solid.
I do like Dead by Daylight. Yep, it's a lot of fun.
So okay.
So I don't see. It's very difficult for me to see a lot of just remakes. Why don't we just add to the story? Why don't we just keep adding to the world?
Well,
I think
mean,
that's the best
when I say
option.
remake, I shouldn't say remake. Like if, well, the 18 would be tough. You'd have to remake the 18. Oh God,
SWAT Cats.
SWAT Cats was you got to remake.
It's true.
Oh, it's Airwolf. Oh
Yep.
my God. That's fair.
Totally true.
Airwolf isn't sacred to me. Like if MacGyver wasn't sacred, I don't think Airwolf is sacred.
Honestly, none of them are sacred. They've already done Hawaii Five-0. Look, everybody who's doing it is doing it in a way that I don't like it. I'll be honest with you, because I realized that back then that was the way the shows were made. That fit, that worked. Of course, that's what you did in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And then I'm done. The remakes that tried to bring them back, they're all on CBS, and I just don't like those shows anymore. There's very few shows on the major cable network that I care about. So they all fall into the same line of police procedural. You're going to get A to B to C, and then here's your answer. Hey, it's boring.
So overall, we're just,
Give me more Star Trek. That's what you can do.
Yeah, but original. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not
Well,
sure.
that's why this Strange New Worlds is going to be amazing, because we're getting the Enterprise. We're getting Pike #1 and Spock. So I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm hip. We need more of that story and more Lower Decks if you haven't seen it. That's brilliant.
That's funny.
I think everything should. If we have an animation set for everything, can you imagine an animated Goonies? That would be great. I would be down for an animated Goonies where they just have weird, crazy adventures. Okay.
No, I don't need a Goonies. Leave Goonies alone. I think Goonies is fine just the way it is. I never need to see it revisited.
Do we need another Gummy Bears? Chippendale's Rescue Rangers? I mean,
They actually introduced gummy bears on the new DuckTales.
awesome. Which I did love DuckTales. I love the new DuckTales.
Everybody has been introduced on the new DuckTales. Bonkers.
Oh, God.
Bonkers was a police officer that lived in a different dimension, and all of Darkwing Duck's villains escaped from the jail that he was supposed to be watching.
Yeah.
The Rescue Rangers have been on there. The Gummy Bears have been on there. Every Disney afternoon has been on there.
I think it just kind of depends on what you liked and what you want. And unfortunately, every time we actually see any of these things happen, gotcha, Nicole. Anytime we see these things happen, I haven't been blown away by anything. There's nothing that's taken over from the original. There's nothing that's made me go, gosh, this is so much better. There's a lot of things that have been great augmentations or great additions to the storyline, hence Cobra Kai. But I haven't really, the rest of the idea of remaking, rebooting, and resurfacing old treads. The Dune, now that's one that needed a remake. Absolutely 100%. We need to see a new updated Dune, because they didn't do Frank Herbert's 17-hour long, I don't know, Deluge into Madness really done justice.
Yeah, Dune sucks. I hate Dune.
I know.
Man, you had to. So I call out Never Ending Story and Dune in the same episode. I'm going to be slaughtered.
Yep.
I'm going to be the slaughtered lamb for this week.
Good luck.
Oh God, there are some movies that I hated that people love for some reason.
Because they're good.
Oh God, I will give you Never Ending Story. I see the appeal and why people love it, especially from childhood. Only from childhood, really. Like, I don't get why kids like it now, and I don't think they do as much.
They don't. Oh, I can tell you right now, my daughter was not hip to try and watch it. She was like, "We can watch anything else." I'm like, cool.
Yeah, I think for that time, it was something that came out that was different. Everybody was really into the whole Muppets way of, look and feel and everything. So, like, the characters that Jim Henson Company could create was just brilliant. And don't get me wrong, it looked amazing. But yeah, I really sucked in my opinion.
And that's why we love Dark Crystal. But Dark Crystal was just a small modicum of time during when that was the functional capability, was, Labyrinth and that.
I don't
So
even love Dark. I like it more than Neverending Story, but I don't even love Dark Crystal. I like Labyrinth, but Bowie's the man.
well, yeah, Bowie's amazing, but I don't like Labyrinth at all. I'm a Dark Crystal kid.
Dude, Bowie with that python down those tights, man, dancing around.
Oh, look, nobody said I didn't love the Dance the Magic Dance, bro.
Listen,
I'm saying there may be parts of Labyrinth that are rad, but overall, I think it falls short of the mark.
Bowie's the man. For animation, those can be rebooted, but live action, it's is time limited as times. I don't know if I always agree with that. Flight of the Navigator needs to remake or reboot. You just said. Come on, Gerard. You just said live action doesn't need to be rebooted. You're killing me, dude. And I mean, it can be. I just don't care.
Now, Mike Courtney, here we go. This is my favorite comment. So Joseph Gordon-Levitt said the future of storytelling is in video games. Don't 100% agree, but like 75% agree. I completely agree with this because Uncharted, when you have shows or movies like that, The Last of Us, when you're playing games, when you're playing an experience, and it actually relates back to other things. Like Uncharted is a marriage of a couple different movies, adventure movies. You know, you get into Indiana Jones, you're relic hunting. So you get all these little bits and pieces of this flavor you get to create in a totally new character and then run around and have an adventure with it. And it's interactive. So I really do agree that I think, you know, storytelling in video games is where most of the trailblazing is happening right now.
I will say this. I like 30% agree with what Joseph Gordon-Levitt said. Just hearing it for the first time. But I will say this. Video games should be respected as a valid form of storytelling.
Okay, what?
Yeah, I mean, they're telling amazing stuff.
Whew.
I mean, they're telling amazing stories and doing amazing things. So, yeah, absolutely. And we're getting things that we wouldn't get in the movies, like the Miles Morales storyline. Like, yeah, we're hoping they will introduce one time. But if not, at least we get a really cool storyline in the Spider-Man game.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
You know, and we got it. Don't get me wrong. I know Into Darkness, Into the Dark. It's
Into
such
the
a
Spider-Verse?
great movie. It's the Into the Spider-Verse. It's the best Spider-Man movie ever in existence. And we did get a Miles Morales story. I'm talking live action, and video games are as close to live action as animation gets, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So
agreed.
Going along with what Casey was saying, I know you're going to let me read this because it says you're right. What Casey was saying about augmenting stories with other forms of media.
Just get a stretch.
Playing through Jedi The Fallen Order right now, and it's amazing. Was kind of hoping Cal would make it into The Mandalorian.
That would have been awesome, Mike. Yeah, I agree. I actually just started Fallen Order, so pretty excited to get into it.
And I have to say, I have so much to say about video games and storytelling. So we'll have you on the show.
I was going to say we could have him on the show and also tune into his show.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, yes, go check out the Show Boys podcast. Absolutely. Mike is awesome. Everybody's awesome. So go check it out. But yeah, I mean, we'll definitely have you on the show, plug yours and talk video games. Because I don't know much about them, but I will go along with you. Right now I'm playing Star Trek Online. That's all I'm doing.
Dude, which is awesome.
Oh my God,
that's
it's so
huge.
good. It's so good. Especially with like the state of Star Trek is in right now. Like you kind of get a serious tone game to play. Like because Lower Decks is great, but it is a comedy. So
oh yeah. Well, we need some brevity, man. You can only go so long.
I mean, Discovery's just not doing it for me. Picard, I'll watch Picard season 2.
Yeah.
I love it though.
See, I'm good with Picard season 1 because it did a lot of fun stuff. It did good fan service. But I mean, I could also just rewatch DS9. You know, that was.
I just did a rewatch.
It's so good. So good. And Discovery is bad. It's all right.
Yeah, at best, all right is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
So I will say this. Okay, so we're kind of winding down here. A few things I do want to say, kind of going in. Our good buddy over on the Guapo Show, Mr. Paul Banky, he wrote a book, and I picked up this book and I've been reading it. It's called Staying Positive. Yeah, man, the real Paul Banky. He was a WBC world super bantamweight champion back in the day. He was back in 1984, I believe he won the belt, and he was a champion. And this is the story of his life from contracting AIDS to just after that losing the chance to be a boxer anymore and becoming poor and living off the streets and then becoming a drug addict and then kind of going on from there. So it's an inspirational story because Paul is one of the hosts of the Guapo show. He comes in and he adds so much to the show and it's fantastic. He and John are fantastic together. So go pick up his book. Like I said, it's called by Paul Banky. It's called Staying Positive. You can pick it up on Amazon. That's where he's selling it off of. So I want to say that. Also, Cabin 13, which makes very awesome ornaments and cool horror swag, sent me this.
Nice.
Ginger Dead Man. It was part of their line that they made. So go check them out. You can follow them on Facebook. Go check out their website, Cabin 13. And also our friends over at Monster Movie Happy Hour sent me this sticker, and I put it immediately on my new laptop. Monster Movie Happy Hour is a great podcast. 3 of them are awesome. They're part of the Mutant Fam. Mary, who is one of the hosts, also hosts with me on the Mutant Fam Roundup, which is the new show. It was the Mutant pregame show, but we changed it. It's coming out. It'll be coming soon. More details on that later, but she's one of my co-hosts on that. So go check them out as well. With that being said, if any of you are watching on YouTube right now, please head over and hit that subscribe button. I very much appreciate it. That's how we help to get monetized. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts in the podcast version or any other podcast for that matter, we're on all platforms. Please rate and review us, like us, follow us, the whole nine. I am on social media at the Scene Snob. Casey, you are at Twedai Night Jedi with the TW.
That's how you can tweet me at the Twedai Night.
The Twedai Night. That's where you tweet. And then on Instagram, he is at Plotimus21. You gotta get him to change that to the Madman because he is the Madman. We're having so much fun. We're back. It's 2021. We have so much fun in store. We're gonna have a lot of guests coming up. So just stay tuned with us.
Bigger, better than ever. Action packed. Get ready to roll. 2021 coming in with a bang. We're going to smash you. We're going to hit you. We're going to rock you, baby. And we're hopefully going to leave you warm and fuzzy inside and contemplating life through the magical lens that you live with it. Love you all. Good night. Be kind to each other.
All right, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Thanks again.